Hey guys, welcome to my Infected tutorial spots and strategies guide for Call of Duty Ghost. I've been playing a ton of Infected lately, so I figured I would share some of my knowledge on the best way to survive and maybe even get that K.E.M strike. So, when you're playing regular Infected, you end up with the Bulldog shotgun. No secondary, all you have is an ID and a concussion grenade. It's a little bit tricky, but my offensive strategy for this is to go to the elevator. It's a lot of fun, it always moves, and you can actually shoot through these little panes of glass. So usually Infected will pile up there and wait for the door to open. You can usually take them out pretty easily. The only way you can actually get taken out of this spot, and the only way, a good way to counter it, is to pretty much rush. You can get lucky with throwing knives, or you can be like me right here, where I get completely rushed, and yeah. That's the only downside. It's a smaller area, so you can get rushed very easily. Now, moving on to my second spot that I generally like to go to is up in this house. Now, the reason for this is it's only two entrances, and it's really easy to hold down with a shotgun, because if they get too close, you can generally hit them and kill them in one, maybe even two shots if you're unlucky and you don't hit all of your shots, but also because it's wood coming up the steps. So I'm a sound whore, so I can easily hear them coming up. And if I start to get flooded with too many people, I do what I do here, and I jump out, I hide in the grass for a second, kind of lay low, and then beeline it for the back. Now this back area here, it's dark, there's a lot of grass, really easy place to hide, so I definitely recommend that if you are going to use that spot. Now, if you get to be the lucky person and you get the new version of Infected, you'll end up with the Lynx sniper rifle with an M9A1 handgun with a Kimbo offhand, an IED, even though the wiki says it's a C4, but it's not. And you have the perks Quick Draw, Reflex, and Off the Grid. Now, Off the Grid is like the best thing ever. So, for the offensive strategy for this is I like to sit back here. Usually I play Infected with a couple buddies from the crew, so we usually have 4 or 5 people over here. Maybe we even have some randoms over here, so it's really easy to hold down. It's hard to get people out of the spot in the sense that you have so much range, so if people come down that main alley, you can pretty much take them out without even really thinking about it. It's not a hard thing to actually do and pull off, so if you have a bunch of buddies over there, go for it. If you're solo, try it. It can be a little bit difficult, but once you get the off the grid perk, my main strategy, if you want to actually win and you don't want to just get kills, is to hide in either one of those two spots and kind of wait it out. Now, this is the only way that counter it, and this is pretty hard to even get this. So the easiest way is to kind of hug the wall and rush up there as fast as possible, get your throwing knives in the best position you possibly can, and rush the rest of the people. If they have their pistols out, it's pretty hard to kill them, but you might get lucky. Now, the other spot that I like to play offensively, which it can be kind of a hard spot because you're really in the open, but it's kind of throws people off a lot, and it's good in the sense you can hold down the whole map, but this is what happens. These two guys thought they were going to be slick up there, and it didn't work out too well for them. So just be wary of that it's really easy to get rushed up there. It can be kind of difficult to actually hold it down. Now, for the last spot for offensively for the sniper rifle, this is where I want to try soon. I've been thinking about doing this spot for a while because it's kind of out of the way. There's only really one spot to your right, which if you place your ID there, you can kind of hold that down for a minute. Or if you have a couple buddies, it's not that hard. You have a little bit of cover. And yeah, I'm going to probably be trying that out soon. So, getting to the defensive part of the video, hiding spots are a key part in this game. I mean, the point of Infected is to not get infected. So that spot that I just showed you is probably one of my favorite spots. No one really ever looks up there. You can come down below where that spot is, but it's not exactly the most effective. So another spot, if you're in the elevator and you don't want to go up to this spot up here that I showed you, there's a spot in the corner that's actually an amazing little spot. It has a lot of grass, a lot of cover. Stormfront in general has a lot of cover so that you don't exactly get seen very easily. You have to pretty much be stupid to get seen. So moving on to my next spot, this is probably another one of my favorite spots. Another one of those spots people generally don't look for, and it can kind of throw you off, especially if you ended up on a SATCOM. It's a great little spot, and right here, which is actually right next to that spot, is like where the moving trees are. You kind of see the trees move a little bit. This was actually my go-to spot for Infected for the longest time, and I can't tell you how many times I've actually won Infected using that spot. Now, I'm going to speed this up for you guys a little bit. It's a little jump spot. I didn't want to waste your time watching me like barely move across this thing. But you can just jump up on the bridge and then jump across onto the ledge and move your way around. It's not exactly the best spot. You can cover a lot of the map, but I thought I would throw it in there. It's one of those little glitchy spots that a lot of people when infected actually have been doing lately. The only problem with that is you're extremely open, and is once people actually see that you're there, they'll take pretty good advantage of their throwing knives, and you won't last too long up there. But if you think you can either dodge them or if you have a good chance, go for it. I've tried it a couple times. I've got knifed pretty quickly doing it. Here's one spot that a lot of people don't go on infected. It's kind of out of the way. You really don't see it. Like if you're coming out that doorway, there's no line of sight to actually be seen. So it's a good spot. You can hold it down offensively if you wanted to, but there's no way to really escape once you start to get flooded. And once too many people start swarming you, you're pretty much done in that spot. Now, this is the #1 spot that people go to, and I almost threw it in like the bad spot category just because so many people go here, but in the sense, if you're on the one offensive spot over there, you can either go to there or you can go under this truck right here and hide. No one surprisingly checks under the truck. I don't know why. It seems like such an obvious spot, but no one ever goes there. Now, going into the houses, the bar is probably another one of those spots that I almost threw in like a bad spot category. A lot of people go to this spot. I mean, it's a high traffic spot. A lot of people will check it, but if you're feeling lucky, go for it. Now, Stormfront is one of those really particular maps that's great for infected in the sense that there's so much shrubbery and there's so much things in obvious places in the middle of the map that you can hide in and people don't check. Like these little pots or flower whatever plant areas. I don't know really what to call them, but a lot of people will hide in them just because there's so many of them, and it's really easy to hide under, I guess, these ferns. I don't really know what to call them, but the back alley yet again is another really good spot to have. It's dark. A lot of people don't go back there. It's not a high traffic area. But let's get to the obvious and bad spots. I'm going to speed this up for you again, guys. It's another one of those jump spots, and I categorize this in in the bad spots category just for the simple fact that it's extremely hard, not really hard, but it's time consuming to get up there, and at the same time you are completely open. Not to mention the fact that everyone and their mother did it like the first week of infected because people made videos about it, but it's not a great spot. I hate seeing people spend so much time getting up there and then throwing knife. Also, people hide here all the time. I don't get it. Not going to question it. Terrible spot, guys. Also in the back here, a lot of people try to hide in this like little patch of grass. Look out for that. It happens all the time. Bad spot. Really easy to knife them. And probably my most pissed off one of the bunch is people will literally hide in the high grass over here. As if like I'm not going to walk past and see you. Or they'll hide behind this little cinder block guard thing. You're an idiot. If you hide back there, I'm going to knife you. Just saying. Also, this is another one that was kind of on the cusp of if I wanted to put in a bad spot or not. It's really easy to get knifed here, and a lot of people think that just because you're in a nook, it's easy to not get knifed. Now, thanks for watching the video, guys. If you like it, make sure you hit the like button. And just remember, if you don't want to fight the infected, you can always be one.